Hello, everybody. Good morning. Nice to see so many artists for this seventh talk of the Premio 63rd Premio Faenza in 2025. Today we're gonna have a very interesting talks with different artists, some with a lot of experience, some very young but very talented, and it's an honor to be here with you, and I don't want to waste your time, so we'll start very soon with the first artist, which is who is Taiwan Lee. She's from China. It's very young, but her work is very stunning, and so it's time for see and hear what she has done for the prize. So Taiwan, the board is yours.
Hello everyone, I'm Taiwan Lee from China, and my hometown is a city in southeastern China's Fujian province. Currently, I'm a third year graduate student in ceramics at Nanjing University of the Art. Mm, it's a great honor to be here today to share my works. My English level is limited. Please forgive me if there is any mistake. Mm, okay. As a student still in the learning process, in addition to my short-listed piece, I would also like to briefly share some of the works I've created during my studies. Since my still exploring and developing my craft, my creation often vary in style and the forming technique. Next, yeah, first is my shortlisted works, Chance Mountain, and the original intention behind this series was to capture the chance of what I see and hear, uh, both the imaging before my eyes and the sounds in my mind. Mm, as the name suggests, next page. Yeah, the mountain themes depicts the form of mountains. Next page. Next, yes. The Trans Mountain series also draws inspiration from the ancient Chinese pictographic character for mountain, shan, found in oracle bones inscription. Next page. Like this, the right size picture, the four-piece arrangement presents an interlaced composition, serving both the simulation of physical forms and the expression of meaning. Next. Next, I would like to introduce some other works I created during my studies. This piece is titled Immersions. It's a work about unities, where the triangle structures conveys a spirit of strategies and stability. The ancient piece is composed of small concave element. Next piece. and the use of color gradients enhance its sense of spatial depth. And this picture is what back, please, back. Yes, this picture, and this picture is show the other sides of the work. Yes, now next piece. This piece is named Life, and the next one is New Work. Next one, please. This work is named New World, and these two works share the similar themes. They attempt to convey the different states of life, whether mundane or joyful. I painting on porcelain slabs with color slabs, creating printers, and more often repetitive dots. Next one, please. Next picture, please. Yes. And more often repetitive dot in my picture can show it, and much like the daily routines of life, or occasionally is something interesting. Is the meaning my work want to show. Yes, next please. This imaging show the finally display effect. Sorry, a back back picture. Yes, this picture is the final display effect. Yes, next please. And here are some close-up details of the works. Next picture. Yes, next are some recent experimental attempts. Show small scale drops. Yeah, I have been exploring a delicate light waveform that required support during fire. I creative custom clay. Sorry, I create mode. I create custom clay molds in various shapes to hold the paste during the kiln process. After firing, I remove the molds, leaving behind a fragile. So the work is like the picture. Finally, next piece. There are some successful outcomes. Is this work? Next one, please. Next picture. Yes, this piece is called Running Character. It's also made by similar technique and created the supporting molds needed during firing. This mold represents Chinese master Huaisu's work. After firing, the clay piece can be removed from the supporting molds. Like next please, next picture. Yes, this picture is show the after firing. This kind of shape is very thin and transparent. And next picture, please. Finally, there are some functions where pieces I've made using 脚胎, a layered clay structure most. This is a technically a favorite way to do something you daily use. Yes, and the above is all the sharing I have to offer. Thank you all for your attention. It's all. And there are next picture is the also works. Yes, it's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Taiwan Lee, for your presentation. It's nice to see young student, since you are still student in the Naixing University of Arts, and you're gonna have a long wait, but your work is on the run, so keep going, and we hopefully see you in the live version in June in Faenza. Thank you again. Then we move to another artist, and we still are in the Asian area, because now we have to introduce Makoto Hatori, who is one of the oldest artists who participate to this 63rd Faenza Prize edition. He is from Japan. He has a lot of experience. He moved also around the world, especially during the 90s. And he worked in his workshop. He had a proper workshop where he teach everything since a long time ago. So it's a good way to transmit and to help other people, help students and other interested people to the clay world. From Makoto, we have a video, and now it's time to see it. Thank you.
My work, titled Hijiki, Beyond Color, a White That Germinates, embodies the Japanese aesthetic concept of ku, potentiality. This ku is not merely an absence but a space where infinite possibilities dwell. Within this silence, existence germinates. And matter, light, and texture harmonize beyond physical boundaries, evoking profound and unseen emotions in the observer. What is a ceramic object without its maker? What does clay itself reveal when left unadorned? Contemporary ceramics often emphasize surface aesthetics. Yet in doing so, they risk severing the bond between maker and material. My work seeks to restore this forgotten dialogue. For me, clay is not a mere base, but a subject imbued with memory, vitality, and presence. It holds traces of the hands that shape it, bearing witness to a process that transcends material transformation. The transparent silicone tubing introduces a delicate interplay between visibility and invisibility, compelling the viewer to question the nature of perception and materiality itself. In this space of tension, my work invites reflection on what it means for a material to exist beyond its function, beyond its expected form. Has contemporary ceramics become too reliant on surface treatment? Have we neglected the deeper conversation between clay and nature? Clay is not simply a medium for expression, but an equal partner in the conversation between the forces of nature and human skill. My work extends the philosophy of natural ash-glazed pottery to the contemporary realm, seeking to rekindle this forgotten dialogue. By intentionally foregoing glaze, I amplify the inherent voice of clay, prioritizing a direct dialogue with the material. This approach recalls the delicate yet powerful presence of washi paper, reinterpreting the tradition of natural ash-glazed ceramics for the modern world. In Ikebana, The empty space is as important as the flowers themselves. Similarly, my work explores the balance of space and presence, striving to rediscover the profound relationship among the ceramic artist, material, and nature. Japanese aesthetics embrace the Zen paradox of discovering infinite depth within emptiness. My work invites contemplation on silence, impermanence, and space. Following the principle of Haumont, expressing meaning without words, I assert that materials speak for themselves without embellishment. The form is not only seen but also felt. Unglazed ceramics capture the transient beauty of impermanence, reflecting the Buddhist cycle of arising, transformation, and cessation. Unlike the Japanese approach to ceramics, some Western perspectives tend to judge a ceramic object by its final, fired state. But is the ceramic process merely a means to an end? Or is the dialogue between clay, fire, and maker the true essence of this art form? My work serves as an invitation to experience the serene world woven by material, light, and space. Within this emptiness lies infinite potential, waiting to awaken the creativity within you. How do we perceive emptiness? How can silence spark creation? I invite you to reflect on these questions through this work.
Okay, so we hear and we saw this beautiful video about the philosophy that stands beneath Makoto Hatori works, and obviously we can think also about what he's done in the past, all these works with the wood fire kiln, and the idea of this glaze that is something that just add a little layer, but in the end it's just the shape of each works that speak for itself. And here we saw something quite new with this connection with different media, different material, silicon tube, the idea of emptiness, and obviously it's quite challenging for, let's say, European point of view, but the invitation that had at the end, it's obviously the most important one. So the work of Makoto Hatori for sure will help us to think about what clay is used now and what is a defined meaning, or if it has one. Well, next artist, we come back to the old Europe, and she's a French artist, Julia Haumont.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, nice to see you. She is quite one of the artists from, as I said, from French, and she lives in Paris, but she has also well-known experience with solo show, not only in French, but in many other countries. So, Julia, the board is yours.
Thank you. I discovered ceramics in 2015 while studying at the Beaux-Arts in Paris and followed Claude Dumas' apprenticeship, so I'm delighted to be exhibiting alongside him at the Faenza Biennale. I build my practice through mediums that have long been relegated to the rank of craft and the feminine, ceramics, embroidery, textiles, and glass. This protean body of works allows me to create installations that brings together life-size ceramics female figures, which coexist with sculpture with organic motif and abstract composition. These installations combine robustness and opulence, strength and delicacy, figuration and non-figuration. This ambivalence is also found in the earthenware figures, whose innocence contrasts with their sometimes lascivious postures. Some of the figures are taken from my personal archives, others refer to postures that I can see on myself or a young woman, and there are also references to art history. For example, This sculpture is inspired by La Jeune Tarentine in the Orsay Museum and Balthus's guitar lesson. Next, please. Before joining the Beaux-Arts de Paris, I studied fashion design. After several years, I returned to textile. In my abstract fabrics painting, fabrics are dyed, assembled, torn, and sewn back together, always using childhood archetypes, colors, sequins, beads, and embroidery. It's also a pictorial quest, a game. I play with colors and pieces to compose a form to create a painting. The ends of the childhood, a delicate and complex age, particularly for women whose bodies are changing. The boundary between childhood and adulthood is slowly blurring, and sometimes blurring in the eyes of adults. Among the young girls in glazed earthenware, some seem dreamy and immersed in their inner selves, trying to prolong their childhood, while others naively amuse themselves by mimicking the image of women with languid postures. Working without any preparatory drawing, I take on the posture myself by touching my own body. This contributes to this ambivalence, the shape sometimes being closer to a woman's body than to those of a child. Next, please. The use of a variety of material allows me to give shape to different series, which respond to the same need, to show both the beauty and the difficulty of emerging from childhood and existing as a woman in a world of latent violence. Also, they differ in form, the pieces respond to each other and form a whole. My aim is to create a world where beauty is combined with a disturbing strangeness. Next, please. Here are two murals inspired by the world of fairy tales and the circus world. Through this world, which oscillate between figuration and abstraction, I hope to create elements that evoke the imagination and costume of circus performers, rumbuses, sequins, ruffles. Following in the footsteps of Hans Christian Andersen, whose paper cutes I discovered recently and found fantastic, I myself have used these folds, which we all experimented when we were child. These pieces can also remind of female genitalia. Next, please. This is the sculpture I will present for the Biennale. This group is based on a family photo of my cousin and me. I choose to present the character representing me. Here also there are two figures. Each of them seems to be looking inwards. They seem to be dreaming and handling an object that we can see. I would like to read the words that the author Xavier Bourguin wrote about these works. Perhaps this is what some of these young girls are dreaming of, with their melancholy gaze, when it's not mischievous or cheeky, the already lost kingdom of childhood, where we perceive behind the lightness of flight and without always understanding it, the violence of existence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Thank you for your presentation. Very clear and very interesting also to see this focus on the childhood, but it's just one of the themes that you are approaching with your art, with different medium, as we saw, but especially in ceramic. And this idea of representing also yourself on one hand, but sometimes what is this particular event that connects all the women in the world when they are moving from the childhood to the, let's say, the mature world. I don't know, the older world. Anyway, it's always interesting to see that you're capturing a particular event to focus on this different idea. And thank you very much for your presentation. And let's quickly move to another artist. And we are still in France, but just because she now lives and works in France. But Kiti Kurarova is from Russia, and it's very young. Hello, Kitty.
Hello.
And she's studying in the design research at the Saint Etienne Higher School of Art and Design. but she has also a lot of different experience, and she has also group exhibition around the world. So even if young, you have a lot of things to show to the public. So the board is yours.
Thank you. Yes, first of all, I would like to say thank you and everyone who related to the Faenza Prize. Thank you for paying attention and supporting my work, because yes, as you have already said, I'm still a student, so in the beginning of my path, so it's really, really important for me. So when I was preparing for the talk, I decided to put my projects chronologically, because they're all related, and you will see why. So here in this slide, you can see some digital forms which I created in the 3D program Blender for my master's diploma project. Next one, please. So here you can see the process of digital creating. Like normally, I always start with a cube in sculpt mode in Blender. After, by applying more edges, it becomes a sphere. Next, please. I think a sphere which I can transform with digital brushes. So there are also many special add-ons which can help me to transform the shape by applying the modifications like mirror, twist, screw, etc. The next one, please. So the process can be controlled and not controlled, but I always work without any image in my head. I never do sketch before starting working in Blender. For me, it's just like a children's game with plenty of arbitrary choice. The next one, please. But what I'm looking for, it's not the fact of coping with some concrete natural specimens, but rather expressing nature. So create something in between, say something, but not everything in order to leave a place for metaphors. And here are the results of Blender game. Let's say they are the pieces made from resin printing, PLA, 3D printing, and ceramics. The next one, please. Due to the fact that I create all the objects digitally, I need to make them tangible by printing with 3D. And when I decided to make an object in ceramic, I use a 3D printed object in order to start working with the plaster mold. The next one, please. And after graduating, I had a chance to be in a 15-month residency in a French town, which name is Limoges, which is famous for its porcelain. So I decided to concentrate my practice technically and aesthetically on porcelain. And I think I choose to work with ceramic in this period of time because of the independence of the material. It's still really important for me to control all the process, because when we understand the logic, it brings only the benefits, and working with ceramic becomes a confluence of human and the material, physicals and chemical forces. The next one, please. And in the program of the residency, I should have a week of glass blowing workshop in another town. And due to the specificity of the work, I could not make my Blender organic forms, which I showed you previously, because they are small and I didn't want it to leave the hole on the objects. So I decided to make some vases in Blender in the same way. The next one, please. But after returning to Limoges, I decided to continue to make a functional object with organic shapes and started deep research of glazes for each form. So I decided to make my own recipes with different ingredients. So next one, please. So in the end, I have a family of vases which I continue to evolve, because each form is a particular story, technically and aesthetically. And I think it's beautiful, but sometimes some circumstances can guide the creative process, and one project can evolve into another one. So the next one, please. So here is a digital form, still in Blender, the piece which was selected for the prize. And the next one. And this is the same piece made in porcelain. This is also the biggest ceramic work which I have. The height is like 40 centimeters. And in this work, I continue my research based on poetic approach and ambiguity, which aspires to create one's own like library of forms or a family of objects reminiscent of natural specimens which have not yet been discovered. And it's like a blank page to create a universe in which it's possible to reinvent or rediscover things, to modelize the associative properties, the creation of metaphors, and the ability maybe to see more when it's explicitly indicated. And my attention is always to focus on the search of a special representation of objects based on the unexpected, the strange, and the fantastic, like simultaneous attraction and repulsion to indirectly represent the elusive and changing world using analogy and metaphor. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiti, for your presentation. It was very nice to see this connection between the digital world and how it can evolve into something that is not just a resemblance of nature, but it's really a world that you, as you said a few seconds before, it is just a universe that you really can expand. Obviously, we can connect with it. We can be somehow, we can fear the digital world sometimes, or we can fear what is coming. But in the end, it's something that is part of our life, and it's something that we can evolve with. And also your attitude, I would say, your type of implementation of the work is still ongoing. And so it's nice to see something really evolving day by day, work by work. And thank you again for being with us. And let's move to another artist. And now it's time to talk about Icaro Maiterena from Spain. Hello, Icaro. Nice to see you. And Icaro has a video that presents his work, but let me just introduce him, since he's a well-known artist in the ceramic world with different prize and recognition, international recognition. For example, the Bruckner Foundation Residency Award, the Cerco in Zaragoza, and some others. But you can spot his work around many others because it's really a unique style, a very personal style of using clay and digging into the different layers that are presented during, I would say, the dealing of time. Let me just say like that. Anyway, let's see the video and eventually hear some any other words from Icaro at more or less at the end of the video. Thank you.
Hacer cerámica es un acto de resistencia. Bajo este planteamiento nace la serie cerámica sobre la que estoy trabajando actualmente. Esculturas cerámicas creadas a mano, amasando la tierra, co-creando con agua, aire y fuego, en presencia del misterio, salvaguardando esa cultura inmaterial que ha convivido en armonía y respeto con el entorno, como un acto colectivo de resistencia para cuidar la vida. Resistencia que cohesiona técnicas, tradiciones, ritos, formas de organización, expresiones colectivas, paisajes matéricos, territorios inmateriales desconocidos, fruto de una experiencia vital, corporal, espiritual y humana, con el deseo de que la vida artesana se arraigue a la tierra y perdure en su corteza, un acto de permanente resistencia a aquello que nos niega el derecho colectivo a ser felices y a habitar el mundo de otra forma. Fuera de utopías y distopías, con la necesidad de reconectar con lo natural, para volver a vincularnos con el paisaje, el paisanaje, la tierra, con nosotros mismos. En mi proceso creativo está profundamente inmerso mi cuerpo y las impresiones vividas que dejaron su huella en él. Hacer cerámica tiene para mí mucho de danza. Mis obras son cartografías de un instante vivido, en el tiempo en el que las creé, evocando situaciones percibidas o experiencias vividas en contacto con lo que me rodea, pero especialmente responden a mi contacto corporal con la materia, gestos, movimientos, acciones con vigor o sutilidad. Parto de pellas paralelepípedas de arcilla sobre las que ejerzo compresión y torsión, giros de muñeca, retorcimientos que generan pliegues, cabalgamientos y fracturación. Esto supone mover muchos kilos, ejerciendo movimientos impulsados por todo el cuerpo, con ligereza y vigor. La experimentación te va dando idea de con qué intencionalidad harás cada movimiento, pretendiendo un resultado. La arcilla, viva, responde a su manera y actúa co-creando con todos los factores presentes. Proceso aparentemente improvisado, fruto de un trabajo tenaz, persistente, en una entrega absoluta a la búsqueda del misterio del arte, en continuo diálogo del espíritu humano con la materia. Necesitamos adentrarnos en tiempos lentos, tiempos sociales, tiempos emocionales, tiempos que encierra cualquier proceso de conocimiento. La cerámica está cargada de un tiempo dentro del tiempo, de un tiempo detenido en el instante, un tiempo lento para el cuidado. Cada parte del proceso cerámico requiere ese lento cuidado, y acaba convirtiéndose en una resistencia frente a la prisa humana, que ha destruido buena parte de los paisajes, del respeto, de los placeres, del apoyo mutuo, del goce y de las reflexiones. La mayor forma de dominación y de alienación es la velocidad. La velocidad hace que perdamos la caricia compartida con el entorno, esa que genera la comprensión y la ternura. La lentitud nos ayuda a conectar con la vida.
Okay, Icaro, thank you very much for your video. If you want to add something about all that we have seen, especially in the end, if I don't remember wrong, this was an art residency project in the Taller Escuela de Muel, if I remember, and it was one of the first time that you had this huge amount of clay for your sculpture.
Yes, with Cerco, is a international festival in Zaragoza, give me a residence to work in Muel. It's very near us. It's a little village, and it's a place with a lot of tradition in ceramics. And for me, it's a great experience to create big sculptures that normally I can work with this kind of kilos, and in the residence I can make the piece that is in Faenza price.
Thank you very much. We are very glad to have you in the selection, and hopefully to see you in June in Faenza. And your work speaks by itself, but this deep connection into clay, into nature, and into the movement that are the one of nature on one end, but the one of the humankind with their hands. So it's just really a dialogue between the two poles, and what we are doing is, and what you are doing with your work is really represent this evolving process. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And then we move to another artist. Now we go on the other side of the ocean because we speak with José Sierra.
Hello, everyone.
Let's see. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, José. It's nice to see you this time. And you are one of the guys with a lot of experience, a lot of participation in international exhibition, and a lot also of prize around the world, especially on your side. But your works is also represented in different collection, not only in the United States, but also in many other parts of the world. And your connection with the tradition and what resemble some ideas, some colors and shapes, the texture that you present in your works are something that remind me, obviously, of the ancient art of your country. So the board is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My work, I went to the Art and Craft School of the University of the Andes, where I was introduced into ceramics. I was supposed to become more utilitarian ceramicist, but I take my own path. But my work is a fusion between pre-Hispanic art and modern, and my latest work has been between the biomorphic and abstraction painting on my pieces. Next, please. Like this one, I call the Pumarosa tree, and it's a tree that creates those beautiful fruits, and it's like they reflect those red pieces are like resembling of the fruits, and it's a memories of my childhood when the trees bloom, the whole neighborhood became pink, the sidewalks, everything, and it's so embedded in my memories of childhood in my home country. And so that's one of that piece is one of the beginnings of a series that I've been working in the last 5 or 6 years. Next, please. This one, it was started working this one in between the pandemic and that for a show they called Blooming in the Dark, and it was about that the those moments where you feel hopeless and the only thing is go get yourself in the studio and find hope. Clay is something very powerful because it reminds us where we come from, nature. And everybody I heard here, like we have similar stories because the material connect us to nature. Is the most powerful material in the way that it's a long process, and it's the same. And the human being, we start with ideas, but the ceramic takes so long from the beginning to the end that things emerge and evolve, and it allow you to go more deep in yourself and understand, right? Your own self. So this work, I started doing it. It was based in between the pre-Hispanic and the flora and fauna of Venezuela. So it was and the goal is the resemble of the country has so much gold, but people are starving. So it's kind of like in a way like something that nobody can explain. But so the goal, I use gold to resemble that in my pieces. It's like if you have so much wealth, but people don't even notice because everyday life absorb you and make you forget things, right? So next, please. This one is a piece called Tierra Adentro, and it's a base of the biomorphic forms marry with the pre-Hispanic very square forms. It becomes so entangled to each other, right? Because when you see like temples and things and the pre-Hispanic settings, it's all about they are all covered. And nature take over. Nature will devour those forms. It's only when humans come and clean it up. But the piece is based on that. It's like the ornaments are like coming from the in and out. Is the way of like nature. No matter what, nature always will take over. But we humans forget that we're only here for a little tiny speckle of time, and it's like a cycle, right? So that piece is about that. It's like the connection and the thing with nature that are only a little tiny piece passing through space. And the most beautiful example, you don't have to look to outer space because we always question ourselves and look at outer space. It's like you only have to go back, look a little bit of history and how things, nature always take over. So that's one of my connections with my work is that there's the process of time and it becomes really poetic, right? So next. This one is about the similar tree, the Puma Rosas, because the Puma Rosas is like when in my hometown when they bloom they take over, but there are many different kinds and they fragrant, they smell like roses. It's kind of very interesting, and is the in between decay and blooming. So it is a part like the same, the biomorphic and the decay on the top of the piece symbolize that. And so I use the treatment of glazes to resemble a little bit of the feeling when you stand under a canopy. You know, when you see up, you stare in the sun and under a canopy, and you see different shades of greens and things. I try to capture that energy into my pieces, of course, and it's simple, a little bit you can capture it. It's so hard, but so I try to marry the abstraction paintings with the forms to capture the vibration, the energy that is floating around, right? So that's what my latest work trying to do that. Like, so next, please. There's this the similar. I've been working with more ornaments. Those are made out of porcelain, and the body is stoneware. It's kind of a little challenge to mix. I mean, marry those two together because the different strain and drying process. But in the end, I've been find out like different porcelains they have the same ratio of dryness with the stoneware, and the results have been really interesting because my idea is like a foreign object and something that it like the resemble of stoneware for me is like the pure nature thing, and porcelain is a man-made clay technically, and is like the impose of human or over nature, right? So it's like experimenting with the idea and the goal, the same with the goal, like how we value more stuff with the if you got a little, you know how you the show of wealth is in some periods of history is like you have so much gold, so it's like that. But in my country we are so wealthy, but the gold is underground. Nobody can see it. The good can see is the beautiful nature of it. So that's the point of those pieces. Next, please. And this is a piece that's gonna be in the Faenza, and is it's a mix of the abstraction painting with the ornaments, and the ornaments are made out of porcelain, and it took quite a while to let the whole thing come. Like I had to fire the piece, like preheat it to some point and reheat. Like the fire process is really slow because the porcelain, right? So they can coexist. And in some ways, it's very interesting. Is like we human can coexist together if these two materials can do it. It's kind of like it's a like very poetic things, right? With the material show you um, to represent it in real life, but the I forget what I say. The mix of the glazes and everything is like I have a lot of been having a lot of questions about my colors and glazes. Is I develop all my stuff. I take quite a few years to develop the whole thing, and there are a mix of commercial stains and oxides and fire the same is fire at once. I don't fire multiple or anything, and I just saying that because this piece have so many elements around that some people think I'm firing and like multiple times to achieve these colors and achieve the patterns, but it's all at once. So that's what when I come, I feel more when I do this. I feel more like a painter than the ceramicist. But that's that I try to marry both to coexist in the same form. So, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, José, for your presentation. It's very explanatory. I mean, I cannot add anything else. Just remind everyone about your roots in the end, the idea of this connection of nature, the goal that is underneath that somehow come and it's merged together with all the colors of the nature. And on the other hand, this idea, very technical side, to connect the different type of clays and try to merge them together, try to make them coexist. And somehow it's quite an invitation, as you said, also to human being to coexist. Nowadays, it's very useful. And thank you, because this is standing so hopefully, even if it's a long way from to Faenza, we'll see together in June. Okay.
I will hope.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Let's move to another artist and welcome Elina Titane from Latvia.
Hello.
Hello, Elina. Nice to see you. Nice to have you in the selection of the Faenza Prize. You have a different approach with the material since your studies in the Academy of Art and in the Riga Design School. But now it's time to hear from your voice. So the board is yours.
Yes, hello to everyone. First, I want to say many thanks to jury for select my work to Faenza Prize. It's really amazing to be selected together with all these high professional and talented artists. So yes, let's start presentation. My ceramic studies started 30 years ago, but I start to really like ceramic and discover and find ceramics material as material with what I can and want to express myself as artist 10 years later. My way is abstract sculpture. It's structured sculpture. I work with all ceramic materials in different scales, and I use just hand-built technique. So next, please. These works I created in 2006. It was my first large-scale ceramic stoneware sculptures. And this also was my bachelor work in art academy. Works was quite big, around 1 meter 20 centimeter height. So next, please. And this is following series of work, what calls unity in diversity. I follow the same sense as previous works, but I went more detail and structure. So it was a long-term work. And it was really interesting for me. I worked for 3-4 years. Yes, and next please. And parallelly, I started few new series of sculptures, and one of them calls After the Rain. And later it's transformed to a rice series. And with the rice, I was still working not long ago. And so next, please. This works from a reflection theory, and it's more simple shape. I'm working more fast, more expressive. The focus was more on surface structure. It's also larger scale. It's like human size. And yes, in the left side works are made in Jindasan, China. In the right side, it's made in brick factory in Latvia. So next. And here is some porcelain work. For sure, porcelain is most difficult material, especially for hand build. But it's also very interesting. I find a way how to get the similar sense of creation with completely different way of building. I mean, different from stoneware. And these works are made in different places. Some was made in Jingdezhan in China, in Changchun in China, and also in Latvia. So next, please. Here is more porcelain works. It's from Johnny series. Here I work in more experimental, and I mix like a can build technique with a fiber, with liquid porcelain, and many firings. And these works are quite big for porcelain. It's around 68 centimeters. No, it's big like my studio kiln. So next. And these are my larger work. Now they are like objects in public spaces, but they was made like fire sculptures. The newest and biggest is in Skelskor, Denmark. I use like 400 kilos of clay. Another sculpture is in Lithuania, Šiauliai, in Daugavpils, next by Mark Rothko Center, and also in Jelgava Sculpture Park in Latvia. And so next. This is the same work when we can see that it's fire sculpture. And yes, fire always is magic. So next. And here is my sculptures together with drawings. Drawing is one more media where I can express myself as an artist. And for sure, it have connections also with my ceramics. Not just because I can exhibit them together. This interaction helped me to go faster in creative way, because expression is a kind of inspiration of drawings, and it takes like a minutes and hours. But for working in ceramics, it takes like a days and weeks. So it's kind of time transformation. Because as we know, for to make new series of works with ceramics, it sometimes takes few years. So next. And this is a work from the new series that I started not long ago, and it's called Lines. And these sculptures also are selected for Faenza Pride. And line is like a visual language and also sense of creating objects. With this line movement, I was making and shaping sculptures. And interesting fact that parallelly these two sculptures, I was making the third one sculpture, but the third was like a teapot like a sculpture, and this teapot was selected to Yixing teapot competition and also get a bronze prize. So I think it's a very good start for the new series, because this sculptures is selected for Faenza Prize. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Elina, for your presentation, and thank you for let us give a deep dive into your work, into your attitude, and the use of drawings on one end, but also these elements that grow and make a bigger and bigger statue sculpture. It's interesting also to see that you use different materials, but in the end, it's always this connection with clay, with many different firings, also wood fire kind with big sculpture, which is obviously very interesting. And again, the idea of representing something just by giving up, give line that grows up and make things very clear, very simple on one end, but very precise, very focused on these shapes growing up. So thank you again for your presentation. Stay with us, and let's move to another artist. This Walton from UK. Just a moment. Hello, Alice.
Hello.
Nice
Hi.
to see you. And you have, as many other artists, different education, but again, a master in ceramic and glass, which is the last thing about your your studies. But then you had a lot of selected exhibition. Your work is really appreciated around different countries, not only in the UK, also it's present in public collection, or in Denmark, for example. And the board is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Next slide, please. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the jury for selecting my work for the Faenza Prize. It's a great honour to present my work today alongside so many other incredible artists. My name is Alice Walton, and I work from my studio in Somerset in the southwest of England. I'm known for making highly complex, multi-layered, decorative porcelain sculptures. The surfaces I produce are coated in individual hand-formed ribbons of coloured porcelain and are attached one by one onto the clay's surface beneath. I believe that the creative journey ultimately becomes part of the technique, and this is a philosophy that first emerged during my academic master's study at the Royal College of Art, graduating in 2018. Next slide, please. I have a deep interest in colouring clay, and my research spans manufactured, natural and geographical coloured pigments and materials to colour the clay's surface, giving blends, gradients, speckles and textures to make the viewer question what material has been used. Coloured clay gives me the opportunity to show my process, leaving a fingerprint detail or a tool mark to suggest my time making the work. Next slide, please. I'm inspired by journey and place and the rural landscape and the urban. I'm attracted to how nature can overcome the man-made. I walk, often repeating journeys, photographing, stopping and looking and questioning why I'm attracted to certain objects in my surroundings. Asking myself, have my surroundings changed because of natural changes or human influence? These changes catch my eye and tell a story. Whether this be the rain over a paved surface, making the colours more vivid, plants growing across bridges and coming into bud, a dry stone wall falling due to high winds and creating new organic stacks. I want to capture this in my recreated landscape of objects. Next slide, please. So I arrive into the studio after walking and draw from memory. Sketchbooks are vital as a resource for me to reference and inspire new work. I might capture a colour, a shape, a texture or a surface on the paper. I then make directly in clay from this drawing. I love creating work which is connected to place, whether this is through where I live, travelling through residencies, or work. Next slide, please. By referencing the mundane and nostalgic and having this break in time, my work pivots away from the literal and into imaginary and abstract. Grounded by this research, I reimagine scenes in clay. Patterns can resemble mapping, aerial views, strata, and rings of an expanding, growing tree. Because of the time it takes me to create each work, I always have this personal connection to each of my sculptures, remembering the season that I made them, the warmth or cold, the location created, and the feelings I had. One sculpture informs the next, and so on. Next slide, please. The technique I use involves me hand-making repetitive individual ribbons of porcelain, meditatively creating an intense surface coated with rich tonal mark-making blends. The tools I use to create my sculptures is minimal, purposefully, to encourage travel and inviting endless experimentation. My hands, a pencil case, and my imagination is the only thing holding me back. Next slide, please. During a recent residency that I carried out with Wedgwood in Staffordshire in England, I had the chance to take the concept of colour blending further by wrapping multiple individual coloured tones of Wedgwood jasper clay around historical vessels. This application of complex coloured clay pattern work gave me a newfound appreciation of what can be achieved by using a material which is static and fixed in place through firing, yet can still have this great sense of organic movement. Next slide, please. And this leads me on to my final slide and introduces you to the work which I present for the Faenza Prize. This work, Fos Verdure, comes from a series which was produced when I first moved to the countryside. It captures the combination of intense serpentine textures with rich tonal blending techniques to create a calming quality and mimics the tranquil nature of exploratory walks. For the first time, this series introduces glaze applied in a gradient technique, combining richness of colour with the matte kinetic material qualities of the clay. I aim for my work to act as a time capsule of discovery, for the viewer to be drawn by the intricately detailed markings that are deliberately reflective. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you for your presentation. It's very, very clear and precise. And since your process and your way of using the clay is very personal, it's a long process that involves all your life and all your memories, of course. So it's interesting also to catch some glimpse of one place and another, and have this idea that also some other places are architectural reference. So it's a very, very stunning. Thank you again for being with us. Let's stay together a few more minutes. And since we have the last artist for today, who is Shiyuan Xu. And let's see if, yeah. Thank you for your patience, Caiwen. Thank you for being with us. And your education, it's very complete, because you had your Bachelor of Art in China, and then you move to the Arizona State University, and you complete your education there. So you can have this idea and this site in both the Eastern and Western world. So the board is yours.
Thank you, Marco. It is my honor to be here with everyone, and I want to say thank you first to the jurors to select my work to be a part of this year's Faenza Prize exhibition, and also to have this opportunity to share my work with more people. So my name is Shiyuan Xu, and I am originally from China, and currently I am an assistant professor teaching ceramics at California State University, Chico, while also having my own studio practice. So through the images here, I will briefly share some of my inspirations, process, and also my work. Next, please. So my work highlights the beauty, fragility, rhythm, and harmony found within the growth systems of the micro life forms. And my pieces reflect my understanding of the evolving nature and the delicate essence of life itself, and also my own cultural heritage. An image here gives you a sense of the scale of my work. Next, please. So this book on the left, Seeds, Time Capsules of Life by Rob Kessler and Wolfgang Stebbe, holds a significant importance for my art practice. And this publication integrates art and science to unveil the hidden diversity of the seeds from the seed bank in the Roy Botanic Garden at Kew. And reading this book feels like opening a whole new world of exploration for me. And I was truly inspired to delve deeper into the wonders of nature and explore the microorganisms with the very fresh perspective. And here are two different seeds on the top right in this book. And I researched a diverse range of micro life forms, including seeds, single-celled organisms in the ocean, and very simple forms like cells, and also things like fungi. And in grad school at Arizona State University, I had an opportunity to work with professors at the Life Science Lab for a project to examine some samples with the scanning electron microscope. So the image on the bottom right is the image from one of the projects. Next, please. I hand-built my work with slabs and attaching small slabs together to form a bigger biomorphic form And initially, I started building with porcelain itself, but I had real hard time figuring out the technical issues, such as cracks, distortion during the firing, until I experimented with paper clay, which becomes a game changer for my whole studio practice. So nowadays, I mix my own porcelain paper clay and build with that for my work. So working with paper clay really allows me to build bigger in scale and also with more dynamic forms. Next, please. So I have a particular interest in the structures of the microorganisms, and I see the structures are the traces of the growth, expansion, and decay. And they serve as records and documenting the process of the growth, a response to both internal and external forces during the growth, and reflecting the adaptation to the surrounding environment. Next. So I think my pieces resonate with both order and chaos, and embodying the rhythm and balance, and also merging the simplicity with the complex observed in the living organisms' asymmetrical patterns. Next, please. So the regular and irregular structures and layers in my sculpture also contains my own sensory experience of the surrounding environment, such as the subtle color change of my plants as they sprout new growth, and also the variegated plant leaves appear on my studio plants. And the hybrid series combines more color in one piece. And for me, I was really thinking about the idea of variegation and adaptation, which I often see it as a metaphor of my own experience of navigating the duality cultures, both in China and being in the US as an immigrant and also an artist. Next, please. So this piece will be showing at the Faenza Prize exhibition. And oftentimes when I build these intricate structures of my work, I really do think they share a fractal of my own life experience, but in a very abstract way. The tension between the structures and the surface as on top. And I take the color reference of my work from the traditional Chinese ceramics, such as the blue and white color palette in this piece, which reflects the history of ceramics, especially the Chinese ceramics, and also sometimes with the ceramics I encounter in my daily life. Next, please. So this is a detailed shot of the piece, capturing the surface a little bit better. And I use a very heavy textured glaze on this body of work. And I fire over and over and over again to achieve this very organic effect on the surface. So sometimes one piece can be fired to up to 10 times, which is crazy. However, I think it is a good reminder that when I think about growth, it always takes time and energy, and it's always a slow process. And also, I think my pieces always evolve along the way, from beginning to the end. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shiyuan, for your presentation. It was clear to have this idea, the inspiration from the microscopic world of these little elements and being of nature. and also this connection with your life, this idea that somehow you represent two worlds, and you want to conceive this idea, and just by adding and using, for example, as you said, the two colors, the blue and white, and it's very, very stunning, very, very personal. And thank you again for being with us. Now, eventually, it's time for question. So let's just go back all together. Okay, in a few moments. So now it's time to. It was a long talk today, since we were so many, and but it's interesting. It was very interesting to hear this different attitude and this different approach to the clay world. So if you have any question in between you and any other, now it's time for asking. Well, I see a lot of smile, but everybody is shy. So let's just stop this talk. And the invitation, of course, is to come and see all together in June at the opening of the Faenza Prize. Hopefully, you'll be all there so we can share more detailed ideas and histories about your work, what you're doing, what will be your next works, etc. And I would like also to remind that the next talk will be in a week, and there will be a lot of artists: June Fisher, Wang Deng, Jinkang Zhu, Zhang Kai, Annie Kananayan, Aliona Kristofic, Ambra Lorito, and Sandra Mayeka. So thanks again for being here. We'll see you in June. I wish you good luck for the final result, and thanks again for this for your presentation. Bye.